Hi, it's Michael here from My Surrogacy Journey, and we've got more reaction videos. Right now, I've not seen this one yet, or before, or ever. And we're going to be looking at a guy called Charlie Kirk, and he's going to be talking to an audience about his views on IVF. He's pro-life, so probably some controversy in this, I'm imagining. Dive right in, but before we do, make sure you like, subscribe, and whack that notification bell. Let's dive right in.
Hi, Charlie.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Hi, so my name is Paige, and this is my twin sister, IVF,
Wow. Okay.
Alex.
Okay.
We have two older sisters that are also IVF.
Okay.
So this is about IVF, of course. So I'm particularly neutral on the topic. I don't want to have like a forced opinion because like my entire family has kind of become a product of IVF.
Are you guys surrogacy too, or just IVF?
Just IVF.
Just
Yeah,
IVF.
just IVF. But I watch your videos, and so I've noticed that in one of your
There's lots of MAGA hats in the background, which tells me this is going to go one way.
videos, you do mention that you are okay with IVF, but you're morally against it. Is that true?
Yeah, it's a little bit deeper than that, but I have a lot of problems with IVF, albeit while acknowledging the fruit. I'm glad you're both alive.
Thank you.
And so that must be celebrated. So it's I'll explain the difficulty, but please continue.
Okay, my part one of my question is just as someone who was conceived through IVF, why should I also be morally against it?
Good question. Okay, so as a pro-lifer, first and foremost, we have to have an issue with the discarded fertilized eggs that happen during IVF. That's why you guys are twins.
Embryos. He's already thinking is an expert on the topic and is already using the wrong terminology.
Is because during your creation process, if I can be provocatively blunt, you lost a lot of your siblings.
Yes.
Right? Am I correct in saying that?
So for our older sisters, they had 6 embryos in their batch. 2 came out, of course, but for us, there were 3, and then 2 came out.
Yeah, and so that's my first problem, is that it definitionally is saying like we're going to discard life to get to life.
Okay, so not yet life. Let's be really clear. These are cells. And speak to any embryologist, any professional in, a reproductive endocrinologist, anyone that works in IVF will all say and state the fact that these aren't life. These are still a bunch of cells. They may go on to be a live birth, but may not develop as an egg. That egg may not be able to be fertilized to ever become a live birth.
I have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
So
I do agree, but in a certain way, So in a certain way, those embryos, say they weren't going to become anyways, but at least we were trying because they were going to be raised in a house where we are pro-life and we really wanted to be able to have kids and cherish that. But by taking that loss, they were able to have at least us out of the 3. At least they could have the 1. So it's kind of, I don't know where I'm going with that.
I understand what you're saying. So there's a pro-life way to do IVF, which is only implant the eggs of which the children that you actually want to raise. And so, by the way, you have a lower likelihood of working because in your case, it would be maybe 2 or 3. For example, the way that the IVF doctor will sell it is like, look, here's 6 embryos. You'll be lucky if 1 or 2 implant to the uterine wall. Let's see what happens. Now, in certain cases, 4 implant to the uterine wall and you get quadruplets, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Which is what happens. I find that to be a little bit creepy, to be honest, that a doctor can kind of call shots on what life is going to live and not live. And I find that to be directly contradictory to my pro-life stance. The battle between good and evil seems to be escalating.
Let's just stop, shall we? Look, controversial. It's a very typical pro-life argument. I think it's a very dangerous argument because the repercussions then of discarding embryos already is concerning the fertility industry in the United States. In the UK, we can keep embryos for 55 years. We can donate them to science. If we don't need them, we can donate them to other people if we want to, or they can be discarded. These are cells and are not life. There is no heartbeat. These are still cells that may or may not develop. So the debate continues about, especially with pro-lifers, especially in states where abortion care is considered a crime. The discarding of embryos could be grouped into that, which is just bonkers, that you could have tanks with millions of unneeded, unwanted, non-viable embryos, and you have nut jobs like him putting pressure on people to claim that these are life, and if you do discard of them, are you going to be prosecuted for murder? Yeah, it's just crazy. The debate continues on this topic, and yeah, I think it's concerning. I think if I had embryos in the US, in certain states where the pro-lifers are gathering some momentum, I would be really concerned. Yeah, thank God he's not here. But yeah, the debate continues with that one. So if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe and whack that notification bell. And you know what? Join in. Comment below if you're pro-life or not, or what's your view on this topic. I'm sure this is going to gauge a bit of interest, but get involved. Keep it kind. Yeah, comment below. Thank you.